Yo, what's going on, homies? Shichibokai Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at St. Marcus Mars, the bird guy of the 5 elders once again, but this time, we're taking him in on the strength-based team. Now, Marcus Mars is a very interesting character. Obviously, he buffs elder characters, and if you have the 5 elders, you can run that fun 5 elders team with either Pikqchu or S-Snake. It works a little bit better, obviously, with Pikqchu, because Mars is going to buff Pikqchu, but he also buffs shooters, which you're ready to showcase on, and he buffs strength. The thing about Marcus, though, is that he wants you to have 5 shooters on the team, so then that way you can get all of the extra nerfing, all the extra buffs that he actually gives. And with this particular setup, we have S-Snake, we have Uta, Akainu, Kuma, and then Mars himself. That way we're actually getting the 5 shooter characters. On top of that, we can throw in Pikqchu, we can throw on Strength Luffy, we can throw on King down the bottom there. It's just a nice little bench nuker. Have a full team of fighter and shooter characters to satisfy the conditions of S-Snake and still do some pretty wild things. So this is the team I'm going to take in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, build a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification too, because we're doing heaps of stuff with the elders. There's so much content to be made, so make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the fun. But with that said, let's take a look at the new and improved strength team over in PvP. Alright, so I recorded these fights over in the championship that was held over the weekend for PvP. It's the Super PvP. So they're going to be a little bit different to the challenge fights. We might wrap it up with the challenge fight depending on how long the video is and how much there is to talk about. But the upside to Marcus being thrown in on this strength team is he brings a lot of nerfing capabilities. The -3 defense, -3 cooldown reduction, on top of the fact that he can actually give cooldown reduction with his special. He lowers cooldown reduction with his special. He can give 20% cooldown to Navy or World's government units, so that way when like a Kainu comes in, he can actually hit pretty damn hard as well. And then if he dies, he actually has 100% cooldown and 100% haste to 1 attack style teammate. And in the front lines, we only have 1 attacking style teammate, so if he dies early, Luffy basically just gets a free special, which is just, like, everyone knows how disgusting Luffy is. If that procs, it is just game over. If it's late game and you've lost, say, that middle core, maybe like Uta dies. Uta has a tendency to die pretty quickly because she's not getting like buffed by Pikqchu. But she's like that sort of weakest link on the team. But it's okay, because if she dies, then Kuma comes in, then you have another attacking style unit, and then Kuma can do some like crazy ass Kuma things as well. If you really want to as well, and you want more damage output, you can throw Kuma in the front here, and then that way you can run like Uta on the bench, or maybe Pikqchu to the bench. Pikqchu in the front just like holds so much value in my opinion. So I'd be moving something like Uta, or even something like, yeah, probably Uta's probably like your only option. I would guess. But then you run the risk of obviously like Pikqchu not buffing Kuma too, and he can be quite frail, so you'd have to move him to the edges. Ideally as well, like having Mars in the middle is actually a really good shout as well, because Mars can obviously use his death shot as quickly as possible, provided he's actually dying too. We do have Uta at level 150 now, so her super special just goes absolutely bonkers. I wish S-Snake's was 150, but hey, look, beggars can't be choosers. Her super special is still ridiculously strong with Confusion. We are going up against a pretty nasty defense team. This is VV, one of the top players. His defense team is very strong with level 150 all across the board, and a level 150 Jinbei just sitting on the bench waiting for us if we do kill anything. But lucky for us, we managed to get our Luffy special off within the last 30 seconds, which means that we can basically just kill the entire team. Garp's confused, so we don't have to worry about his death shot, which is a perfect example of why S-Snake's super special is so valuable on this particular team. And then we have Mars sort of just to come in and clean up the scraps there. We don't have any like Navy or Admiral or World Government units in the front lines, which is a bit of a shame, so that way we're not getting that extra 20% cooldown that Mars can give to characters like Lulu, to characters like Suru. You can give it to Kainu, Kuzan, like those types of characters. I actually don't think Kuzan is Navy, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, the 6+ Kuzan might not be Navy. They might have removed that tag, but giving it to those types of characters helps out quite a lot. Caulifla, for example, as well, can actually take advantage of it. Zoro and Kaku also do have that luxury as well. So you can do some pretty fun stuff there, and obviously with the elder team, like you're giving the just 20% cooldown to like all of the elders, which works really nicely over on that team. So as you can see, like even without that 20% cooldown, like having the nerfing that Mars provides, the extra defensive drop for characters to just hit harder in general, and the level 3 cooldown reduction he gives as well, just works like an absolute treat. So managed to find a shooter team as well. Like I said, these were like defensive based builds, so they're not so much going to be like the best teams in the game, because I don't think that strength can really cut it with like that big shooter team, nor can it sort of cut it with going up against obviously the quick powerhouse driven hybrid, as it probably shouldn't, because obviously it's got type disadvantage. But it was nice to see that you could sort of take on a bunch of different shooter variations as well. So talking about this sort of strength team, I do think this is sort of like the best rendition of strength. Strength, you have other options like Nami Karina, you have options like Kobe as well that you could throw on the team, but just sort of like the evolution that Bird has and the different dimensions that Bird brings to the team, it seems way better to be running something like this. S-Snake's nerfing, Pikqchu's nerfing. We seem to be in a bit of a meta of like nerfs are more powerful than buffs. Blackbeard kind of opened our eyes to that when he first released last One Piece Day, but then having characters like Pikqchu, S-Snake, the PvP and the Anniversary exclusive legend, having those types of characters and what they can do. Usopp Lilith, for example, is another very good nerfer. Like, just seeing the effect that has on enemy teams rather than having buffs is just absolutely chaotic. And then you like take a look at what the elders are doing, where they're doing like nerfs and buffs at the same time. It's just it gets kind of absolutely nutty for your team builds and what you're sort of getting out of maximizing the class typing, as well as being on like these sort of like type-based teams. Another character that does it really well is Peter, being on the Dex team, having like a full Dex build, and then having the 5 powerhouse there. He does that quite well as well. Unfortunately, Ethan and Slashers don't really have that same luxury. Warcry definitely does, and then obviously Saturn needs the six strikers, not 5, which is a bit of a problem. That extra unit needing 6 strikers, it's way more problematic than something like the 5 shooters or the 5 powerhouse characters. So it is nice to see that you can get the most out of a character like Mars and a character like Peter, and then the other ones just kind of, well, like I said, Topman doesn't really struggle at all. Just that team doesn't really need him per se. So funny enough, I actually did manage to find the like bigger shooter team. I think the only thing that this team is missing is the Bird in its makeup, and then like bringing Kuma to the bench, and then running like obviously Bird in the front with no Kid. But yeah, this was a much bigger shooter team, so it was actually nice to see us take this down. I do think I'll probably wrap it up with one. Look, we'll actually probably wrap it up here. There's not really much else to talk about after this particular fight, but as a whole, I do think Strength has kind of become that sort of 3rd best team in the game, this particular rendition of it. Cerebral are definitely up there in the top 5. Obviously, you have the Quick Driven team, you have the Shooter team, which are just definite OPs. The Psy team, honestly, with Jinbei now is actually very, very strong, so that's definitely something that is to be careful of. And then obviously the Elders team too, like it can definitely put in some work. But overall, I do think that the Strength team, it's absolutely demonic. It's got everything you need. It's got nerfing, it's got cooldown reduction, it's got death specials, it's got damage output, and it can do some pretty nice things too. Interesting that we actually managed to get the win here with losing Luffy that early. The thing with the shooter team is, like, with Sura, they're going so quick, and then with Usopp and Lilith, like, lowering your cooldown, you're going so slow. So having that ability is just, it's ridiculously powerful. But as you can see, like, Mars definitely brings not another dimension, because like Pikqchu's already doing like similar nerfing stuff, but he brings just extra nerfing, and as well as really nice buffs to the team. His special is basically like a buffed version of Raizo Shinobu, and the downside obviously is that he's not a 20 cost character, but still, the fact that you can get so much cooldown reduction on the enemy and then give yourself so much cooldown reduction to get your second round of specials is incredibly valuable for a high damage based team where you're relying on stuff like Luffy, when you're relying on something like Kuma on the bench, or even something like a Kaino as well. The upside too is that Mars actually has damage. That 3000 fixed damage is definitely nothing to scoff at. It's not something you'll rely on most of the time, but it's like, it can basically bink a unit that might have just survived on a B's ticket health, or it can put characters into a range where Luffy is just now going to absolutely rock them, or Kuma's going to absolutely destroy them as well. Speaking of Kuma, this is why we love the 6+ Kuma. When he comes in and he has a special, he does something like this, and he can basically just wipe everyone, which is really, really nice. Something to look out for if you are versing shooter-based comps and you see Kuma on the bench, or you're versing a strength comp and you see Kuma on the bench, you got to be very, very mindful that he can come in and do something like that. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!